Hi all, welcome back. Just want to give you another dose of the real world, the sort of facts and truths that are lost in this fake world and fake news media run world that we live in. Today is April the 25th, and here in Australia we celebrate or commemorate Anzac Day. In Australia and New Zealand, Anzac Day is where we remember and commemorate all the fallen soldiers of past wars, all the heroic brave men and women that have fought for Australia and have died in wars. And I am an anti-war person, and I hope you are too. It seems that a lot of people are not anti-war because they will be against any war that the media tells them is bad, but they will quickly jump on the bandwagon of any war that the media and our government says is good, like, for example, American wars, invading Afghanistan, Iraq, and so forth. But anyway, I digress. A few years back, I used to question Anzac Day. Why do we keep doing Anzac Day? It's a long time ago, and they keep doing parades as well. Parades where there's no one from World War One left. I think very few people from World War Two, and now they're bringing the children into parade and so forth. And it just seems to me to have been a way to keep brainwashing future generations into wars and supposedly like supporting good wars. If it's our war, if it's a war that our government supports and so forth, we are supposed to follow along, lockstep, and just support it and so forth. Now my view has changed a bit. Perhaps we should remember Anzac Day and all the brave, heroic people who have died on our behalf in the past, but we should not remember it in the way that the governments and the agenda and the narrative want us to remember it. What we need to do is realise that all these wars are fake. Let's support the people that have died, but realise they've died for fake wars. Fake wars created by the elite and their puppet politicians, because all wars are fake. They're all to make profits, they're all for banks, they're all for the banksters, and World War One's a good example. World War One was a totally fake war. Gallipoli was a major campaign that started Anzac Day. In Turkey, that was Winston Churchill's misadventure to send thousands of people to their deaths, Australians, New Zealanders, the Anzacs, and of course British people as well, on a totally misguided adventure. And that's a good example of what I'm talking about. The fake wars, and they're all fake, all created by the elite. The bankers fund both sides, they support both sides, they work for both sides because it's all for profits. In America, the military industrial complex makes huge profits and jobs and factories and workers and so forth. That's why the congressmen support wars in America, because they've got so many factories in their area and the people have jobs and so forth. And any war is just good for the weapons manufacturers. The cannon fodder, the poor people that are sent as cannon fodder and sacrificed, they can die, but the companies, the elites, the corporations, the factories just sell weapons. Every time a tank's destroyed, or a plane is shot down, or a helicopter is shot down, you can make another one and make a profit out of that. All taxpayers' money making profits. Okay, I don't want this video to get too long. Just want to make the point that I remember, like we all should do, all the brave men and women who have served for the country and died in past wars. But you have to realise, what are we remembering? We have to remember the fact that it's fake wars by politicians safely in their capital cities. They'll never see the war, they'll never see the bloodshed, whether it's in London, Washington DC, Canberra, or Berlin, or Moscow, or Tokyo. Any of these capital cities where the politicians are safe, I can guarantee you, if the politicians had to be on the front line, if they had to be the first to jump out of the boats or cross the border, there would be no wars guaranteed. There would be no wars guaranteed. If they had to jump out the boats on D-Day or invade the country, jump out of aeroplanes, jump to your death, all these things, if they had to do that, there would be no wars, but the politicians are safely back in the capital cities. There was a time, maybe centuries or even thousands of years ago, where leaders would actually fight with their armies. Then by the Middle Ages, by the Napoleonic Wars, the leaders would still be there, but they'll be back at a safe distance. And for example, Napoleon would ride his horse over the battlefield. Once all the fighting stopped, he would ride his horse over the dead bodies, the carcasses of the cannon fodder sacrificed for his war and for the bankers and his backers, because Napoleon was a puppet just like any other politician we have today. The elite, the bankers are all in charge, they're all making money, they're funding both sides, they're making profits. Today, by the 20th century, the politicians wouldn't even go to the battlefield. They would stay safely in the capital cities and send the cannon fodder to die for their fake wars, for their power play, to control countries, to control resources, to control oil, and so forth. So there it is. That's my message. Let's remember Anzac Day, but don't forget what Anzac Day and all wars are about. The puppet politicians and their elite backers making fake wars for profits, and it should not happen, and we should all stop it. That's all I'll say for now. Take care, and I'll see you next time.